What is up, Packer fans? Back again. Here we are. It is the end of preseason. The final 53 gets selected. I believe it's Tuesday. There's 16 practice squad guys. So a lot of the guys that we saw in the last preseason game will not be on the Packers roster. There's only a few spots really throughout the offense, defense, and mostly special teams where the selections or the picks are going to be kind of up to LaFleur, obviously, but we'll wait and see what they decide to do on those guys. But for the rest of the roster, it's pretty much stacked, pretty much set. We know who the quarterback's going to be, the running backs, obviously. Hopefully a lot of the wide receivers come back healthy. Tight ends are looking good. Offensive line's playing very well. And the defense looked good in the last preseason game against Seattle. A lot of the starters did start. They looked good out there. And obviously a lot of guys coming back still. So for the Packers, all in all, pretty healthy going into the season. Sounds like we're going to get a bunch of these guys back for week one. Sounds like Jordan Love's thumb is going to be good for week one. I think Jayden Reed will be back. I think, like we saw Romeo play, I'm pretty sure Wicks will be healthy. And then Aaron Banks, he's out with a back, the lineman. So if he doesn't play, I know Jordan Morgan played well. So he'll start there. Yeah, there's just, a few guys banged up here and there on the defense. I know Hobbs was out. McKinney is a little banged up too, but for the most part, they all said they're going to be ready week one. Hobbs, I'm a little bit worried about because of the extent of the injury, but he should be back and ready to go. We'll see what happens with him. Otherwise, guys like Nixon and Carrington Valentine will have to step up. But Packers 53, we know who the quarterbacks are going to be. Like I said, Jordan Love, Malik Willis, and then who is going to be that number 3 guy? Who are they going to keep on the practice squad? That's usually what they do. We know Clifford's been around for a long time now. I think this is his 3rd or 4th year, and he's just kind of a solid backup. He plays well. He's got some speed when he runs the ball, so I do like what he brings as like that 3rd option. But Taylor Elgersma, the Canadian Heisman Trophy winner from last year, shows flashes. He's a big body, he's got a big arm, and he can run. So I like what he brings. If we do put him on the practice squad, obviously he might get taken from another team. If we cut him, he'll probably get picked up from somebody else. But he's a guy that, maybe has a bigger upside than Clifford long term, even though Clifford knows the offense and everything. We'll see what they do with that. Kind of a pick your poison with that one. Clifford's been around a little while, but Taylor might have a bigger upside. So we'll see what they want to do. Doesn't really matter. We know who number 1 is and number 2 is. Hopefully we never have to play those guys anyway. So for running back, obviously Josh Jacobs goes into the season, running back 1, looking to add on to what he did last year with like about 1,400 yards rushing and a bunch of touchdowns. So I look for him to have another good year. I look for him to elevate his game in this offense in his 2nd season. So in this offensive line should be better than it was last year, and more improved, just knowing what's going on in this offense under LaFleur for Josh Jacobs. And then backing him up, we know Marshawn Lloyd hurt again. This guy shows amazing flashes when he is out there, just cannot stay healthy. So Emanuel Wilson will back him up, and I like Chris Brooks a lot, a guy that can catch the ball, run the ball, pass block, pretty much a utility guy, can do everything. You need a guy like him on your team. I like what he brings running the football mostly, but he is a good backup for Josh Jacobs. And then we'll see if Wyatt can come back, and that'll be a nice little additive there. He's a guy that, he's small and quick, kind of like an Aaron Jones, but a little more powerful. So I like what he brings, and we'll just hopefully we can get him healthy and on the field. And then at tight end, obviously Tucker Kraft, looking to be the best tight end in the league this year. He said it himself. He wants to be tight end number 1 in the NFL. And Luke Musgrave, a guy who we drafted to be tight end number 1, been hurt the last couple of years. Tucker Kraft took advantage of his moment, and now getting Luke healthy could be a big boost for this team. He is 6'6", he can run, he is really quick, and to get him out there with Tucker Kraft, to have 2 guys that can stretch the seam and make plays after the catch could be huge for this offense. And then I think we're keeping Ben Sims and FitzPatrick. FitzPatrick's, I think it's John FitzPatrick. He's a guy that's, tall, big guy, can block, things like that, and Ben Sims is just a utility tight end, can do it all as well. So I like what he brings, another year in the system with him. So to the offensive line, Rasheed Walker came back. He played well. I think he's going to solidify that left tackle spot. I think he's set there. Jordan Morgan did play good there. So if anything happens with Walker, I think Morgan can slide outside to left tackle. But I like Morgan at guard. And then obviously Jenkins coming back. Rhyan playing guard or center. So we'll see who plays guard and center. Rhyan might be the center. They might leave Jenkins at guard. Jenkins probably will play center, and then Rhyan will be at guard. But it's kind of up in the air with when Aaron Banks comes back. Where's he going to be? Is he going to kind of push Morgan out? If they're playing well, they're going to keep the guy. So the guy they paid a lot of money to might be the odd man out. We'll see how it all goes. But it's nice to have options at offensive line and guys that you can kind of pick from and guys that can move around throughout the line. Jenkins can play pretty much all the positions. That Zach Tom's going to solidify that right side. So for this Packers offensive line, I think it's another step up, another year they can really improve. And I like what they are doing and having a guy like Morgan who can move around. Banks might come back in, so you might have Morgan kind of just move around and back up whoever needs to be spelled for that moment or whatever if they get injured. So we'll see what they do, but I like the options they have there kind of trickle down to the receivers now. Obviously, Christian Watson's going to be coming back from injury. He's ahead of schedule. I don't see him playing anytime before maybe mid-October, late October. He was kind of scheduled for like November-ish initially, so anytime before November 1st is a win for the Packers. I think they'll wait and see, especially if this offense starts kind of clicking like they should be. I think they'll kind of hold off on him to bring him back for the playoff run more or less. But for the Packers, obviously Romeo Doubs looking to be kind of wide receiver 1. Then Jayden Reed coming back. He's going to look to improve on a year where he started hot last year, real strong, real quick the first couple of weeks. He was leading the NFL in receiving yards and then fell off the second half of the season, didn't even make it to 1,000 yards. So Jayden Reed looking to bounce back. And then Dontayvion Wicks, a guy who I really think has a lot of talent. A lot of guys picked him to be wide receiver 1. If he could just hold on to the football, he's got the traits, he's got the size, he's really got it all. He just has to catch the ball. And then obviously we drafted, for the first time since 2002, Matthew Golden, number 22, out of Texas. This guy, in the preseason game against Seattle, he made an amazing catch, just came back to the ball, caught it over the guy. So what a play for him. What a play for this young Packers team, and just getting a guy like him to kind of bring that 4.29 speed on the field, a guy that Jordan Love's had a lot of time with now because of the injuries to Doubs and Christian Watson and Wicks and Reed. Everybody's pretty much down, so it's given a lot of opportunities for Golden to come out there and really show what he can do. So I like what this Packers offense is doing. They're kind of hoarding receivers to kind of see who rises to the top and who is kind of more expendable. I know there's a lot of teams out there that need some receivers, and the Packers have pretty much 5 guys who could play at other teams, and then they have Malik Heath, and I like Julian Hicks, and I also like, what's his name? I forgot again. Cornelius Johnson. I keep thinking his name starts with a J, the first name. So Cornelius Johnson, I like what he brings also, number 84, a big body, was drafted last year, 2 years ago by the Chargers, but another guy who's young. So maybe he'll be on the practice squad, but we will see. And for the Packers, I just like what this offense brings, having a good running game, strong offensive line. They brought in Aaron Banks, who's a big mauler for running in the running game. So I really like what this team's doing. It's just they're young. Can they kind of take that next step? Can Jordan Love take that next step is going to be the big piece of all this puzzle. So obviously we saw him play really well. The first year he played as a starter. Second year he got injured right week 1 against the Eagles. Kind of labored through that. He didn't play a few weeks. Malik Willis did come in and play well. And then he came back, Jordan Love did, and tried to play, injured his groin, kind of compensating for the knee. And then he kind of had to shake that off. And then I think he had a shoulder or arm injury later in the season. So just a tough year last year. Still had pretty good stats for most quarterbacks. So for him to kind of take that next step, kind of elevate his game past what he did year 1, kind of build off of what he did last year, another year in the system, another year with these guys and being the QB1 for this team. So very exciting to see what happens. Week 1 is September 7th at 3:25 against the Lions. So at Lambeau, first time in LaFleur's tenure that they have started a game at Lambeau week 1. So go Pack go. But we'll see what this defense can do. Obviously, second year under Jeff Hafley, a guy who I like a lot. Brings a lot of tenacity to the defense. Really a smart guy. Has a good scheme. And when you have players like Rashan Gary, Kenny Clark, Lukas Van Ness, Devonte Wyatt, you can start doing some things. And so I like what the backups bring as well. I really like Brenton Gox Jr. This guy, every time he's on the field, he makes plays. Forced another fumble against the Seahawks, but I like what he brings. If Lukas Van Ness cannot step up his game, I bet Cox comes in there and he starts making plays. He's a guy that was a first-round prospect coming out of Florida and Georgia. There's a lot of off-the-field issues with him, but he's pretty much tightened that all up now that he's in the pros in Green Bay. Not a lot of ways you can get in trouble here. So So Cox has been really good. So if Lukas Van Ness, who has had an amazing camp, can't step up his games when it counts, we'll see what Cox can do. But I really have a lot of faith in LVN to step up and start playing better. And then on the other side, and Kingsley Enagbare, JJ Enagbare, he's really good too. He played well. He's the one that picked up the fumble and ran it in against Seattle. But got called back because he was down and got touched. But anyway, I mean, just a lot of rotational guys on this defense. Obviously, if Gary can step up his game, get to a 10-sack season, I really had him projected higher than that last year. He didn't even get to 10, I don't believe. So he did make his first Pro Bowl, but I think that's out of longevity and respect from players around the league and respect from the NFL. So I think he needs to step up his game, get more sacks, kind of be more of a disruptor. Let other guys, Kenny Quay take up space, and then Devonte Wyatt, who really started out hot last year before he got hurt, a guy who I think can step up as well. Got Nazir Stackhouse behind him, another guy from Georgia. I think he could be a guy that comes in and undrafted free agent rookie who plays well and does well. And then you still have Karl Brooks and you have Colby Wooden, guys who have made plays since they've been here. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Baron Sorrell, a guy that we remember from draft day, stayed in the draft room for 3 days until he got drafted, but a guy that really showed some flashes before he got hurt. I think he hurt his knee, so we'll see what he can do when he comes back as well. So very excited to see what these guys can do. Obviously, there's other players that might kind of squeak in. There was a guy, what was his name? Deslin Alexander, a guy that I really liked what I saw to him on special teams and on defense when he was out there. We'll see. Maybe he'll be a practice squad guy, but remember that name. He was a guy that I liked watching when they were playing against Seattle in the preseason. So at linebacker, I'm looking for this combination to be one of the best linebacking combos in football. Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper. I think these two guys just have them just survey the middle and shut it all down. I really do like Isaiah Simmons. I think he's on the bubble now because he makes a lot of weird plays and then he makes a lot of amazing plays. He's just the stature of this guy. He's big, he's tall, he's strong, he's fast, and it's just his instincts. He doesn't always play fast. He doesn't always make the right read. So I really like what Simmons can do. If they can kind of bring him in and have him and Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, I think this linebacking core could be amazing. Obviously, I think they'll have Isaiah McDuffie just play that other linebacker spot for now until they can kind of figure out who can rise to the top in that area, because Tyron Hopper is also a guy who's made a lot of plays. He's a guy that might take over that other spot at linebacker. I know Walker and Cooper are stuck and are going to be our linebackers. I just love what Cooper brings to the table. I think Edgerrin Cooper can be an all-pro linebacker. I think he can be one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He's a guy that just shows so many flashes. He had like the highest grade of all the defensive players, and he didn't even play half the snaps. So really an exciting player. He just steps up. He was player of the week, and he only had like 15 plays that week. So if he can get in there and be down on the Packers on every snap and every down, I think the sky's the limit for him. So very exciting to see what happens with him. I think Christian Welch does make this team. Him and Simmons are kind of on the bubble. We'll see what happens with them. I do like them both on special teams. I just like what Simmons' upside is. And when he was at Arizona and he was at New York, they had him playing safety and linebacker and edge. And it's like, you can't teach this new guy all this stuff right now. He wants to kind of just focus on one thing. We have him focusing on linebacker. Maybe things are starting to slow down for him. I just like the upside he brings, and I really think they should keep him. But we'll see what they do. They do have, like I said, Hopper, and they have Welch and McDuffie. So are they going to keep 6 of them? Maybe not. They'll probably keep 5, but Simmons is the guy I think they should keep over Welch, even though Welch has played well. He's from Wisconsin. I do like what he brings. I just think the upside with Simmons is so much better, just considering his draft grade and considering, he's can run and his size and everything. So we'll see what the Packers do there. But on the back end, this is where games are, I know they're 1-1 in the trenches, but when you're playing against teams that can throw the ball, the Lions, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles run the ball mostly, but whatever. You got to be able to cover. We lost Jair Alexander. He's gone. He's at the Ravens. Even though he's already dealing with injury issues, we figured that would happen to Jair. He's just not the player he was, and he's not going to play if he's hurt. So maybe the Ravens, that $4 million is not that well spent. We'll see. So at corner, Keisean Nixon looking to be cornerback 1. I know we brought in Nate Hobbs, probably cornerback 1, but Nixon will be the guy to cover the other team's best receiver. We'll see how he does. He's got the mentality, he's got the confidence, he's got this ball skills. I think he really can be that guy. We'll just see what he does when it comes down to it. Nate Hobbs, once he's healthy, he's a guy that's just a solid corner in this league. I think he'll just continue to elevate his game. I like what he brings. And then, we have Javon Bullard, who kind of plays that safety nickel role. I like him a lot. Just a guy that can tackle really well. He's got some speed. He's not afraid of anything, so I like what he brings. But those backup quarterback spots, I'm not sure who's going to be those guys. Carrington Valentine, I think, is solidified as one of the corners. And who's going to be the other guy? I think I like Kalen King a lot. I liked what he brought in that Seattle game. It was pretty much, he was all over the place. And on special teams, he played well. On defense, he played well. I think Kalen King's a guy that didn't get drafted. I don't even know if he got drafted or drafted where he wanted to. Packers got him late, and he's kind of got a chip on his shoulder. I think he got hurt a little bit last year. So I think he's a guy that can come in and really start making plays for this team. Watch out for Kalen King. This guy could be good for years to come. And then I'm not sure if Bo Mellon's going to make the team at corner, but I'm not sure who else the Packers would bring in or have. Who's the other guy? Kamal Hayden. He played well, but I just don't know if they're going to keep him either. Micah Robinson, they did draft. He played all right. I do like what he brings. He just is a rookie, so a little bit of upside there. So we'll see what they do at corner. I know Zane Anderson's hurt at safety. And then Omar Brown played super well through the preseason and in the family night, but he got hurt in Indianapolis. Haven't heard much else since then. And then Keaton Oladipo, I like what he brings. The Packers have kept him around, so I think they're going to keep him as well. So we'll see what happens back there. Obviously, X is going to start, and then Evan Williams will be the other safety. So kind of solidified on the back end. We'll see what happens at those corner positions. And then Brandon McManus, can't miss. This guy, I was super excited when the Packers got him. All his off-the-field stuff out of the way. He was a great kicker in Jacksonville, a great kicker in Denver, and the Packers really got a steal when they were able to get him. The struggles with all our kicking since we got rid of Mason Crosby, basically got rid of Mason Crosby, pretty much solved. Brandon McManus, excellent, like 95% in preseason with all his kicks through all the different, levels of preseason games and practice and the family night. So really excellent from him. And then Daniel Wayland, our punter, this guy just has a boot. Like, we totally can flip field. This guy is a great punter. He's just going to keep getting better. He's new to American football. He's from Ireland, I believe. So he's still getting used to everything and getting used to being here. And so I think this third year now. So I'm looking for exciting things out of him. He really is a good directional kicker. He's got a good leg. We just have to kind of make sure it's consistent. He did have some last year that weren't as consistent as they needed to be. So can be a real field flipper if he is consistent and does what he needs to do. So go Packers. I'm excited to see what happens. Matthew Golden, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Edgerrin Cooper, X. I'm excited to see what they all do. This team is poised for another good season. If everybody can stay healthy, they can make a run. They just need these young guys to really step up and start playing well. I want to see Lucas Van Ness have a big year. I want to see Luke Musgrave step up and start playing well. He had a big show out in the team scrimmage against the Seattle Seahawks. So keep elevating your game, and then guys like Devonte Wyatt keep stepping up. He had a flash early last year, and I want to see what he can do more. And then just hopefully we can get Marshawn Lloyd back in and see what he can do. So, all right, guys, go Pack, go. Don't forget September 7th, Packers play the Lions. First game at Lambeau in Matt LaFleur's tenure, so pretty exciting. I think this is his 6th year. So go Packers again. Peace out, guys. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.